2026 is just around the corner here in the realistic takeover rebuild with Everton. And whilst we've had a good season so far, securing wins over Arsenal, Aston Villa and Manchester City, as well as making it to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, we're really looking to finish strong in our last two fixtures of the calendar year. Brentford and Bournemouth each find themselves in the relegation zone, and they'll be our first two fixtures in today's episode as we travel down to the Vitality to take on Bournemouth before hosting Brentford in our featured game of the episode at Goodison Park. We will also take on Manchester United here today, and we will see the opening of the January transfer window. So we've got a real opportunity to put 6 points on the board here before we tick over into January and begin the second half of the season. This will be the side tasked with putting those first 3 points on the board. It's a fairly standard defence and midfield for Graham Potter. Ben Godfrey and Abdoulaye Doucouré, the only names who might not be considered regular first team players, but it's a brand new combination of three up front as Assane Diao leads the line through the middle on this particular occasion, making way for Jack Harrison to take up his role on the right hand side. Lewis Dobbin, having recently returned from his loan spell at Southampton, begins again on the left. And we got off to the best possible start in this one. Nathan Patterson breaking away down the right hand side, crossing into the box, and it was a low stooping header from Jack Harrison across the goalkeeper to open the scoring within 10 minutes. That's 2 goals in 2 games now for Jack Harrison, potentially finally making a comeback from that injury last season. But although we pressed, we couldn't extend our lead in the first half. We came close to doubling our scoring after the break, but this shot from Lewis Dobbin ended up going harmlessly wide. Lewis Dobbin absolutely should have made it too. About 20 minutes from time as Nathan Patterson again whipped a really good ball into the box. Lewis Dobbin rose highest, and it was a fantastic point-blank save from the goalkeeper to tip it onto the post. And failing to take our chances meant the door was always left ajar for Bournemouth to get back into the game, and that's exactly what happened in the 73rd minute. Kevin Campbell made a great run into the box and lifted a really tidy finish over the sprawling body of Jordan Pickford to level the scoring. And 7 minutes later, Kevin Campbell completed the comeback. Jordan Pickford this time making a good initial save at the feet of Campbell, but Campbell was first to the rebound, and despite Ben Godfrey's sliding effort, he couldn't block the shot. So rather than solidifying our place amongst those teams vying for European football next season, we actually give Bournemouth a lifeline in their relegation battle halfway through the season. So a poor result to say the least, but we do have a chance to make amends in our featured game of the episode against Brentford. We just lost to the team who have scored the fewest goals in the league so far, and now we face the team that have conceded the most, a massive 33 goals conceded through just 18 games so far for Brentford. And I'm surprised to see that based on the formation that Brentford employ and the players that they have at their disposal. David Raya has returned from Arsenal. Aaron Hickey and Tyrick Mitchell, a new arrival from Crystal Palace, are more than serviceable fullbacks. And the central three in defence of Pinnock, Aya and Good look to be more than capable as well. Midfield 3 provides a lot of defensive cover, with Norgard being flanked by Till and Jordan. And it's Azmoun and Sharda who start up front for Brentford today. And it's a change of shape for Graham Potter in this one as he returns to the 4-3-3 formation, which has shown some promise at times this season. It's a more aggressive attacking formation, so potentially looking to take advantage of Brentford's shaky defensive record. Matheus Cunha does return to the lineup, and he's going to be flanked by Assane Diao and Jack Harrison, who's in good goal scoring form. Despite a poor game against Bournemouth, Abdoulaye Doucouré does start in midfield in the absence of any better options. Onana and Garner will start alongside him, whilst Dukaipa, Ahmed Hodzic, Tarkovsky and Patterson make up the back 4 that stand in front of Jordan Pickford in goal. So without further ado, let's head over to Goodison Park and see if we can actually do our job this time and get back in the win column. So back up in the commentary box here at Goodison Park, the final fixture of 2025, I want to say. Yeah, it must be 2025 here in Season 2. Really disappointing defeat against Bournemouth in the previous game. We are looking to finish the season strong here. We certainly didn't do that against Bournemouth, but we've got a chance to make amends, and we were almost on the path to that early with a cross into the box towards Matheus Cunha. James Garner on the ball now. Maxim Dukaipa outside him. Aaron Hickey for company, but he can find space for a cross where Jack Harrison lies in wait. The ball doesn't quite fall to James Garner, but it does fall eventually to Onana. I think we are going to be a little quicker to second balls in those kinds of instances in today's game, where we usually just have the two in midfield. We've got that third additional player now in Onana in that pivot role. So I think he'll be on clean-up duty on the edge of the box. That's a poor pass from Onana, though, trying to set Doucouré away. Doucouré was particularly poor against Bournemouth. He feels so slow at this point in his career. He's just very slow and lumbering, and takes an age to turn on the ball. Well, Jack Harrison could be away here as the referee plays advantage. Tyrick Mitchell is not the slowest, and Jack Harrison, conversely, isn't the quickest. So it's a fairly even foot race there, which Brentford ultimately end up winning. Ethan Pinnock. Pinnock's a good player. I think an underrated player in the Premier League. Wouldn't be the worst option for a bit of depth at centre-back for us, to be honest. He's used to playing in that three at the back for Brentford, so he'd fit right in. Matheus Cunha. Not sure of his age, to be honest. I don't think he's that old. I think late 20s still. I don't think he's into his 30s yet. So it could be one to look at. Probably not in January, but potentially in the summer. We're unlikely to do very much business at all in January. There'll be one or two outgoings. Yusuf Chamiti will be on his way to Galatasaray. And Abdoulaye Doucouré, although he won't be joining Fulham in January, he has agreed a deal to join Fulham in the summer. So I anticipate Yusuf Chamiti will be the only player to depart. However, that's not accounting for big offers for players like Jared Branthwaite as James Garner gets into the box and fires a shot at goal, which is ultimately blocked. And Kevin Schade picks up a yellow card. Maxim de Kuyper once more. Oh, and that's a definite yellow card challenge at the very least. I think we will listen to offers for Amadou Onana in January as well. Matheus Cunha blocked immediately, the header. James Garner once more. Doucouré wants the ball. He gets the ball and he strikes at goal. And it's a really good effort from Doucouré, but parried away with a strong wrist by David Raya. And Jack Harrison will take the throw. Finds Doucouré, who in turn finds Onana. Patterson. Matheus Cunha dropping into a nice little bit of space. Immediately challenged by Brentford defenders. Again, the referee plays a good advantage. James Garner. Big switch of players on if we can find Jack Harrison, which we have. And he just lays it off to Patterson, who whips the ball in. Really good ball across the 6-yard box. David Raya claims it really bravely. And Cunha leaves one on him there. We're going to see that again. Oh, we are. It's actually an offside rather than a foul. Thought it was a foul for Matheus Cunha's late hit on David Raya there. So I think we will listen to offers for Amadou Onana. We did reject one in the summer from Newcastle, as we're going to have to be careful here. And it's a good save from Jordan Pickford. A chance out of the blue, really, for Brentford. Laying it off on the edge of the box and firing towards goal from range. But Jordan Pickford equal to it. And Brentford will take the corner. And I'm not sure what this is. It's an Everton free kick. I can't really tell what for. I didn't see that bounce up and hit him on the hands. But I also don't think he could have been offside there. So I'm not really sure what we've been given there. But we've been given the ball by the referee. And that's enough for me. Hassan Diao. Oh, he's beating his man well. He's wriggled away from him. And this should be a yellow card for Aaron Hickey, and it is. So that's 2 yellow cards for Brentford early. As some rash challenges fly in here at Goodison. Hassan Diao just squirming away from Hickey. So for the 3rd time, we will listen to offers for Onana in January. After rejecting an offer from Newcastle in the summer, we have promised that if we don't make European football, he's guaranteed a move away in the summer at the very least. If we make European football, then we can review the situation. But if we miss out on Europe, Amadou Onana will be on his way. I think it's wise to at least see who picks up the phone in January, though, and see what kind of money they're talking. Jack Harrison does well to win the ball high up the pitch. And if we can get into the box here, which Doucouré does, pulls it back across goal. Blocked an out of play, I believe, for a corner. And the referee's given a free kick. We are still very much in the hunt for Europe, so I don't really want to sell Onana in January for that reason. I would like to try and push on in the second half and try and secure a Europa League spot. And the same, therefore, goes for Jarrad Branthwaite. We will listen to offers for Jarrad Branthwaite. We'll see who calls. But I'm certainly not eager to sell him in January. Nobody really has called about Jarrad Branthwaite at any point. I think we've had 1 or maybe 2 offers for him. No! No! Referee, no! Armitage has been booked to Brentford have a penalty. Oh, Armitage. He hasn't got the ball. The Brentford man's took a tumble. I'm not convinced it's a penalty, but Armitage has certainly given the referee a decision to make. And that's buried. And we find ourselves 1-0 down. In games in which we were expecting to have back-to-back wins, we have lost the first, and we have found ourselves a goal down in the second. Jordan Pickford went the right way, but he dived low. The penalty went high. And we've already lost to Bournemouth. At the Vitality in this episode, we could be about to lose to Brentford at Goodison. 2 relegation teams. 2 favourites for relegation before the season began. Jack Harrison bounding forward. Lifts it up towards the back post where Diao was making a run. Maxim de Kuiper. Onana. Oh, you've got to be quicker on the ball than that. Lingering for far too long. And the Brentford man just came in and stole the ball away. Brentford almost making the same mistake, though. Well, David Raya eventually hooks clear. And it's a free header, completely unchallenged for the Brentford man. And now Armand Hodgic is way out of position. And Brentford are on the attack once more. And but for a fantastic save from Jordan Pickford, they would have doubled their lead. They probably should have doubled their lead there, Brentford. Fantastic save from our captain. And Onana comes away with the ball, finds the Kuiper. Hassan Diao. His first real chance to run at Brentford. And he cuts in onto his right foot. Tries slipping it through for Cunha, but there's just too many bodies. And this is why I was so surprised that Brentford had the worst defensive records in the league, having conceded the most goals so far this season. Because that 5-3-2 holding formation does set up with a lot of players in front of the ball. Or behind the ball, rather. Good hustle from Jack Harrison. That's about all we can say about that. Hassan Diao again taking on Hickey, who of course is on a yellow card. But he gets that challenge exactly right and manages to squeeze his way through. The challenge from Abdoulaye Doucouré there as well. Abdoulaye Doucouré once more relinquishes possession to Aaron Hickey. who is in an advanced position now. So if we can steal the ball away from Brentford here, we may be able to get in down the left-hand side with Hassan Diao. Great save again, Jordan Pickford. Brentford are looking the more likely team to score. It's looking far more likely that they're going to double their lead than we're going to score an equaliser. Oh, and they could well get it here. That looked dangerous for a minute. It looked as if a Brentford man had a clear header on goal. But somehow we managed to win the ball in the box. And James Tarkowski beaten, but Armatodzic heads away. Jack Harrison once more. Just has to hook it out to Armatodzic. Maxim de Kuiper, 5 minutes to go in the first half here. And that's so poor. That's so poor. De Kuiper wins the ball back after his initial mistake. Brentford immediately back in position to defend though. There's Cunha. Abdoulaye Doucouré. Nathan Patterson. Poor challenge again from Brentford. And there should be another yellow card. And it is. And it's Miles Peart-Harris this time. Don't actually remember seeing him in the starting lineup. But he is on the field and he does get a yellow card. Tarkowski. I did press pass there. Tarkowski. Would have been nice if you could do what I asked. And we can't find a way through Brentford at the moment. They're so quick to get back into their defensive shape. And they're bossing the midfield at the moment, really. We went with a 3 in midfield today, partly so that we could match Brentford in that area of the field. No, good save. Jordan Pickford's keeping us in the game at the moment. That is not a position that I anticipated that we would be in. Poor touch, Nathan Patterson. Just nothing will go our way at the moment. And it's our own fault. It's poor touches, it's misplaced passes. But we just cannot get anything going here. And it's half-time and we are 1-0 down at Goodison Park to relegation-threatened Brentford. And Jordan Pickford is incensed. And you can't blame him. You imagine Graham Potter's going to be the same way at half-time. But it's Gus Till's penalty that's the difference between the sides at half-time. And we're really going to have to step it up in the second half if we're going to get back into this game and come away with all 3 points like we had planned. So no changes as we come out for the second half in terms of the players on the field at the very least. We are, however, going to change our shape. We're going to move to a 4-3-3 attack formation rather than the 4-3-3 holding that we were utilising in the first half. So Doucouré is going to step up into the number 10 role just behind Cunha, who will play now as a more traditional number 9. And Onana and Garner will play as a double pivot rather than Onana being just the single pivot in that defensive midfield role. Jack Harrison. Can he find a cross or a pass? He can find a cross. Diao at the back post. Just needed to try and turn it towards goal, but it looked as if he tried to take a touch there. And that allowed David Raya to collect. But that's a much more positive start to this second half. And we need more direct play like that if we are going to get back into this game. It's another poor challenge. Is it going to be another yellow card here for Brentford? It's just a talking to this time for Gus Till from the referee. And that's two-footed. That's a red card challenge if ever I've seen one. But let's look at that one again. That was two-footed in the air, lunging. And there was even a little kick out there. If any of these challenges have been bookings, this one is it. Have a look at this. Gus Till chasing Onana down. 2 feet off the ground. Studs showing. And kicks through Onana in the end. That's a booking if ever I've seen one, ref. Come on. I mentioned in the last episode that I would be turning referee strictness down. And I actually forgot to do that. So we're still on the same strictness as previous. And this is why I'm kind of caught in two minds about turning it down. Because that should have been a booking at the very least. And likely should have been a red card, and the referee has merely given a free kick. So although we've seen several red cards in recent episodes, we do also see things like that from time to time as well, or I would say just as often, where challenges go unpunished in terms of a card. And there's another one, and there's got to be a red card now. As the other striker, I thought it was... I've forgotten who Brentford's other striker is at the moment, but I thought it was Kevin Schade, who has already received a booking. I thought it was the second bad challenge from him, but it's Azmoun, their other striker. So both strikers now in a red. Matheus Cunha in the box challenging for the ball. David Raya claims it. We do look far more positive in the second half here, though. It feels now like a goal is coming. We're not playing the best football still at this point. Playing kind of very direct. Just lumping the ball forward, getting it into the box where we can. That's a nice little ball in behind from Patterson, and Harrison just being completely held off by the Brentford defender. Completely blocked off. Wasn't going for the ball whatsoever. Nathan Patterson. James Garner finds Abdoulaye Doucouré. Lots of Brentford bodies, but finds Hassan Diao. Twists back towards his right-hand side. And there's space for Doucouré to shoot. There's plenty of Brentford bodies waiting to block the shot, though. Onana potentially can have a go. No, it's a good challenge. Good challenge by Brentford. We're pinning them back now, though. And Ahmed Hodzic again has chased the ball down. This time he's not caught out of position, though. He manages to force a mistake instead. The Kuiper. James Garner. Lofted in behind for... Cunha was the intended player to run onto that, but he didn't make a run despite being instructed to do so. Abdoulaye Doucouré pressing high. Hassan Diao forcing the ball out of play. We don't have a huge amount of options on the bench today, particularly in terms of attacking options. We have both Youssef Chermiti and David Washington on the bench. No Lewis Dobbin. And that's lobbed in behind for Diao to chase down, and he's managed to get on the end of it. Can he finish? No, parried away by David Raya at the near post. He was waiting for reinforcements to arrive, Diao, but they never came. And Graham Potter, I think, contemplating a change at the moment, but he won't make it just yet. Instead, James Garner will put the cross into the box where James Tarkowski can't quite win the header. And we can't quite win the ball back on the edge of the Brentford box either. Nathan Patterson does manage to win it back eventually. And Jack Harrison sets Doucouré away. And Cunha is at the back post and is nodded clear by Brentford. Nodded away eventually. But there is Onana. As we said, cleaning up just on the edge of the box. Jack Harrison. Again Cunha at the back post. Again nodded clear by Brentford. But it's relentless pressure here in the second half. And the change of shape really has worked as we intended so far. We haven't been able to get on the score sheet just yet, though. Brentford are going to make a couple of changes, and I think it's time to... Oh, oh no, never mind. I think it's time for Graham Potter to make a change or two of his own as well. So Youssef Chermiti is going to be playing his last minutes for Everton. That's guaranteed. He has 25 minutes left of his Everton career before he joins Galatasaray when the window opens in just a couple of days' time. So in front of the Goodison Park fans, what a send-off it would be for Youssef Chermiti to score the equaliser here. We've brought him on as a bit more of a target man. We've been lofting the ball into the box where Cunha has been the man that we have had to aim for. But Youssef Chermiti now is going to be our target. And there he is, and he parries away David Raya. Youssef Chermiti immediately making the impact that we need him to make. Winning the header in the box, but David Raya equal to it. David Washington tries to find Nathan Patterson, but can't. I think we've been bailed out by the referee, though, and a handball, and we have. Ahmed Hodzic picks it up short. There's Maxim de Kuyper, but the pass is a poor one. Onana. Ahmed Hodzic. Tarkovsky. Patterson again in space. I think we should continue to try and cross the ball into the box, especially now that we have Chimiti on the field. That has been a positive avenue of attack for us here in the second half. And Onana just finds de Kuyper wide once more. Blocked by Aaron Hickey and out for a throw. They are defending very narrowly, Brentford. And they are going to make another change here. It's Kevin Schade to come off and Brian Mbermo to come on. Another player I have looked at various times in this particular save. But another one who has eluded us in terms of securing the transfer. Nathan Patterson gets outside. James Garner's in the best position this time, but again we can't find him. David Washington, the other player to come on in place of Abdoulaye Doucouré, so he'll play in that number 10 role just behind Chimiti. Oh, and Diao does a really good job to win the ball high up the pitch. Chimiti just doesn't have the pace. And Diao wins it back. David Rice made a complete ash of it. And Diao puts it into an empty net. And what a way to give up the lead. Diao, the easiest goal he will ever score. Initially did well to win the ball back high up the field. And Youssef Chimiti didn't have the pace to get away from the Brentford defender. And David Raya was just too cool, too calm on the ball. And Diao nicked in again for a second time in as many seconds, really, to steal it away from the goalkeeper this time. And slam it into the back of the net. And with 15 minutes to go, suddenly the game is level. And suddenly it looks like, based on the relentless pressure that we have been piling on Brentford in the second half, looks like we could come away with all 3 points after all. There is still work to do. We do have to get that second goal. But if the game continues to go as it has in the second half so far, we would certainly be the bookies' favourite to get another goal in this game. Brentford trying to grab the winner late here, though, and they do win a corner with 10 minutes to go, which Christian Norgard, the captain, is going to take. And they've flooded the box with bodies here, Brentford. Oh, and they end up winning the header over Jack Harrison. It was a comfortable save in the end for Pickford, but looked dangerous for a moment. Nathan Patterson just finds James Garner. And there's Tarkovsky. Maxim de Kuyper. Ahmed Hodzic. Nathan Patterson once more, and we could be in on this right-hand side. Instead, Nathan Patterson plays a really good ball in towards Diao, and it looked like Diao might take that in his stride for a moment, but didn't quite bring it under control. Amadou Onana still pressing in midfield. James Garner trying to win the ball back as well. Maxim de Kuyper gets a good block in to stop the cross. And Jordan Pickford comes out to just pass the ball back out. He could certainly have picked it up there. Nathan Patterson. James Garner. Can't break away from the Brentford midfield. And Brentford piling more bodies forward now. It looks like they want this equaliser, this winner rather. They're not content to come away with a point from Goodison Park. They're going to try and press for the winner. They've been defending very, very deep and very, very narrowly throughout the entirety of the second half, trying to hold on to that lead. But now that they've given it up, they are back on the offensive. And it's another good save from Jordan Pickford to keep us in it. We've allowed far too many runners in behind today. And it's Azmoun this time Jordan Pickford manages to deny. We are going to stay in our attacking game plan just simply because we've had so much more success with that in the second half. And James Garner somehow has powered through and is away here. He is absolutely on his last legs though, James Garner. He does manage to find Jack Harrison, who gives the ball away. It's a simple pass into Chimiti and he can't make it happen. Brian Burmo, I believe, the Brentford player, kick-starting the attack. Really well won from Tarkovsky, but couldn't release the ball quickly enough. That's a really poor cross though, and Diao is going to come away with it. And he's got the step on Hickey, but Aya reads it well and comes across. We've got a lot of players who are on their last legs at the moment. Diao is one of them. We do have Bertrand Traore, but I don't think we're going to have time to bring him on here. He would be a good option at this point in the game. Some fresh legs and a decent amount of pace to try and stretch the Brentford back line. Jack Harrison just trying to win the ball back at this moment though. Can't do anything if we don't have the ball. Yusuf Chimiti chasing down Christopher Aya, and he's stolen the ball away, and he has managed to pick it up again, Yusuf Chimiti. And we could have one last opportunity, but what a challenge that is from Ethan Pinnock. Fantastic challenge. He's completely bailed his side out there. Chimiti pickpocketed Christopher Aya and looked like he could cause the Brentford defence some trouble in the last moments of the game. But it's a fantastic challenge by Pinnock, who I was talking up earlier in the game, and boos sound around Goodison Park after two really disappointing results to end the year. It's not a defeat here against Brentford, but it certainly feels like one. So back-to-back victories could have ended our year on a high, and instead we come away with only a point to show for our efforts. And with Manchester United the last team to face in the episode, we're going to do well to come away with more than that. Those results mean that we will finish the year outside of the European places. Spurs currently occupying that Europa League spot in 5th place. But despite a disappointing end to the year, we can't let that tarnish our impression of what has been a very positive season so far. Most Everton fans would have been more than happy with 6th place come January if you'd offered it to them at the beginning of the season, I'm sure. But now that we have reached January, we do get confirmation that Yusuf Chimiti has left the club without managing to score a goal in those last minutes of his Everton career. And for some reason, Abdoulaye Doucouré has left already. He had agreed to join Fulham in the summer. He still had 6 months left to run on his deal, but we just saw him walk out of the door in a cutscene and he's not anywhere to be found in the squad. Someone in the comments, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we still had Abdoulaye Doucouré for 6 more months. The remaining months of his deal aren't just completely wiped away just because he agreed to join Fulham, right? He should have joined Fulham in the summer. And with Lewis Ferguson still out for 4 weeks with that broken toe injury, I think we're going to have to recall Noah Mbamba just for a bit of cover in centre midfield. And this injury crisis really is starting to settle in now. I thought we were dealing with it fairly well, but with Anderson, Ferguson and Nelson each injured, the depth that we have in the squad just is not good enough. We're just about fine in terms of cover for Anderson. James Tarkovsky stepping into the starting lineup, and Ben Godfrey is more than adequate coming off the bench. But in midfield, we should be starting Lewis Ferguson, enabling the likes of James Garner to come off the bench. Reece Nelson should be in the starting lineup, allowing Jack Harrison to come off the bench, and instead we're having to rely on players like Noah Mbamba, who should be out on loan, like Lewis Dobbin, who should also be out on loan, like David Washington, who's only a 72 overall and has not really impressed so far this season. And I am starting to worry at this point what the second half of the season is going to look like. For now, though, all we can do is focus on our next game and our final game of the episode against Manchester United. It's going to be a really tough game with quality throughout the United squad. Tchouameni starts in midfield alongside Casemiro, and behind Bruno Fernandes, Jonathan David starts up front, and it's a really strong centre-back partnership of Upamecano and Lisandro Martinez. However, we have pace in abundance out wide, and that could be the way that we exploit Manchester United today. Luke Shaw and Kieran Trippier neither of whom are particularly pacey, so there could be space in behind for the likes of Diao to exploit. Diao will get the start alongside Cunha and Harrison as Graham Potter reverts back to that 3-4-3 formation. Garner and Onana in midfield, and James Justin comes into the back line. Pace down the flanks was exactly how we opened up Manchester United early. Jack Harrison getting in behind not only Luke Shaw, but also Dayot Upamecano. But his left-footed shot was matched by the save of Andre Onana. Matheus Cunha then got in behind Jack Harrison's neat little pass, slipping him in between the lines. But unfortunately, his shot wasn't even on target. He pulled it across goal, and Onana wasn't even tested on this one. And it was Assane Diao's turn to get in behind this time, but it was Dayot Upamecano's block that made the save ultimately comfortable for Onana in the end. We absolutely dominated the opening 15 minutes or so, even more so than I can really convey through highlights alone. And James Justin even came close to scoring as his shot from the edge of the box flashed just wide of the post. But despite our relentless pressure in the opening 15 minutes, it was Manchester United who opened the scoring. Kieran Trippier pulling the ball back across the penalty area where Jadon Sancho was lying in wait, and his first time finish was too powerful for Jordan Pickford to do anything about. And we continued to pepper the Manchester United goal with shots, but we continued to pull those shots wide. Assane Diao first failing to get his shot on target, and then Amadou Onana doing the same after Matheus Cunha laid off a nice little pass to him. And just after the break, Manchester United doubled their lead. Jonathan David, too big, too powerful, too elusive for James Tarkowski to deal with. And Armitage wasn't quite quick enough coming over to block. And again, Jordan Pickford could do nothing to stop the finish. And although we did continue to press for a goal, ultimately we rued our missed opportunities as we failed to take each and every one of them. James Tarkowski's header flying over being the last opportunity we would have in the game. And it was a close matchup, and one that Manchester United did edge according to the basic statistics like possession and shots and passes attempted. But I think if you were to look at the more advanced statistics, we probably should have deserved to come away with something from this game. But ultimately, if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, then you're not going to come away with very many results. And that's exactly what we failed to do today. We had plenty of opportunities to score against Bournemouth, against Brentford, against Manchester United. And failing to put the ball in the back of the net means we come away with only a point from those 3 games. And so our pretty disastrous end to 2025 and our pretty disastrous beginning to 2026 sees us slip all the way down to 8th position in the Premier League, 3 places and 3 points away from that Europa League spot, which at the moment belongs to Leeds United. We do have a bit of a break from Premier League football in the next episode, though, as we take on Coventry City at home in our first FA Cup match of the season. And then we face Arsenal in back-to-back cup games, this time in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, before we will round out the episode at home once more, this time against Burnley, as we return to Premier League football. So it's been a pretty terrible start to 2026, but we will look to turn things around in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.